that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments, but before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers or headphones to experience the class with. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself, modify as you need to. Don't risk exacerbating an injury because of a yoga exercise. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact, we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises, that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video streaming, try refreshing the page, or if you see a gear icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment. Greetings, everybody. So good to be here with you all. I know with many of us that we know each other well. We have an idea of what we're getting ourselves into this afternoon, and then lots of new friends as well. That it's nice to be here with everyone, and for me, it's a special moment in the sense that, you know, it's quite a blessing, a privilege to be able to even have the wherewithal in our lives to do such a thing where we have the opportunity to kind of work with our life force in a relatively intelligent way. And work with our minds in a relatively intelligent way, be able to kind of bring or at least endeavor to bring our energy, our life force into a kind of centered space in our organism, in the mind, the body vehicle, this kind of electromagnetic psyche that's the human organism. It's not just like flesh, you know, and blood, and the different tissues, and not just electrical nerve current, but that too. But also it's chi, you know, it's prana, it has subtle energy, and that's not just energy in the sense of ordinary energy, but it's energy, prana, chi, in the sense of intelligent energy. And real intelligence is always born of love. Is always born of love. And so that's why I think, and you know how the yogis describe it, and really when I say yogis, the sages from all the different parts of the world, all the different traditions, not just the famous religious traditions that the modern world is most familiar with, but also every indigenous tradition across the globe. that don't get paid their respect on our planet right now, hardly anywhere. And that's a tragedy. And so, how do you respond to a tragedy? You respond with love. But love in the sense of okay, well, how do I do my part in giving respect to those who have made it more possible for my life to be good and my life to be happier, no matter where we live, no matter what our ethnicity is, any peoples or stewards of life that has added to the evolution of consciousness and the wisdom of how to exist on this earth and in these human bodies and minds in a way that allow us to not only feel relatively more content, and so we're able to enjoy our lives, but we enjoy our lives by finding great meaning in it. And that's called tuning the vehicle, tuning the mind, the body, to where that prana is well centered. And when it's well centered, it becomes more rhythmic. Our life gets a rhythm. Then you don't have to go look for a purpose. Or what am I going to do? It will overtake you, with time. Just one foot in front of the other, baby steps. You don't want to go faster than baby steps, because anytime you're creating change and transformation, that destabilizes things a little bit. You know what I mean? And so we have to recognize, while we may be these infinite beings, we're still living in these human bodies with human nervous systems and human brains. And so we won't want to move at a pace that is kind of tolerable, easily tolerable, or more easily tolerable by the human nervous system, the human glandular system, etc. And I think we're designed that way, so that we will move at this kind of the natural rhythm, the natural kind of circadian rhythm of this biosphere. That's what our organisms are designed, and how they operate more optimally is when they're in rhythm with the kind of natural intelligence of things, nature's intelligence itself. Because our bodies and our mind are a part of nature's intelligence. They were generated out of nature's intelligence. We're not separate from it. We feel like we're separate from it because we have what the yogis call ahankara. And that ahankara is your sense of what you are, your sense of self, your sense of identity. Often gets translated, although it's not quite the same thing, but often is functionally translated as the ego. But ahankara exists in every cell of your body. It is essentially what allows your organism to exist and to operate as it does. Just see if you can follow it for a moment. Your sense of me, this is me and this is not me. This is mine, that is not mine. So just to even function here, you have to have that sense of individuality, or nothing's going to work. And so, however, we become hypnotized by that persona of of what our tendencies are and what our nature is, through living through the context of this human experience in this particular body, with this particular mind, with this particular set of talents and ways of thinking about things, and with this particular set of neuroses and ways that cause me to suffer greatly at times. And we all have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why we're here. It's through our suffering, and it's through learning via our suffering, that we're able to fall deeper in love, and to fall deeper in love by being more and more real, more and more genuine. Not just these kind of philosophical ideas of spirituality,
but using philosophical ideas of spirituality to assist us in becoming more and more genuine, more and more real, and having that a really authentic experience of who we are uniquely, recognizing that that's the temporary part of us. And that's the harder part of it, isn't it? Knowing that the part of us that we're really getting to know in a fundamental way, living through the human experience, is a part of us that is going to be discarded one day. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, I'm getting to know myself right now as a husband. And that's 15 years in. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I'm just starting to like get a sense of what this is all about. And so you get a sense of what it's all about. You get a little better at it, hopefully. And then, but I'm also like, but see, that'll end, you know? Hopefully it won't end while I'm still alive, you know, but at the best case scenario, that relationship in the current form that it's in will end at some point, even if it's at the time of death. So next, I'm learning about who I am as a father. And it's at the stage right now where this young creature that we created has been on the earth for 15 cycles around the sun. And so now he's a teenager. And now I'm like getting memories of what I was like as a teenager. And from the other side of it, though, it's like, whoa, he's way cooler than I was. You know what I mean? Now, I would like to think he was well raised. But he is him. All the parents know their kids, or we grow to know that the kids are their own people. And we have some influence on them, but they come in with their own karmas, you know, and their own dharmas. And as parents, we're only one part of their karma. We're only one part of their dharma. There's this whole other field of life experience that we were fortunate enough to be kind of stewards of, you know, to help facilitate this being through a part of life. But maybe last lifetime he facilitated me that way. Totally possible. You can't prove it's not possible. And so materialists, they don't like believe in like the past lives and future lives and that type of thing because they can't prove it, but they can't prove that it's not the case either. And there's a whole huge part of the world that consider that type of ideology human biology, you know, because their biology in the East, especially the ancient East, you know, the whole world is modernized now. But in the root traditions of the East, and then the nurturing of those traditions, like for instance, when the Dharma travels to Tibet, when India becomes invaded by first the tyrannical Muslim invaders, and then later, of course, colonized by the British. But all during that time, Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, the great Buddhist yogi, took the teachings, the Dharma, as transmitted by Shakyamuni Buddha, called the Buddha's Dharma. Later, of course, they call it Buddhism, and they become isms. But at their essence, they're dharmas. So he took the Buddha's Dharma, and they found out this is the perfect place for it, on that high plateau of the Himalayas. And so then for hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of years, became like Dharma laboratories that were the monasteries and nunneries of the Tibetan Buddhists, where now this Buddha's Dharma is starting to unveil itself in more subtle and subtle and subtle forms. In fact, some of the teachings were purposefully kept from being taught to the masses for hundreds of years. And they were planted in that way because of understanding of a certain fundamental understanding a certain fundamental wisdom about the evolution of things. And there's a timing for everything. And the timing for the things that are timed for this moment are timed for this moment. And there'll be other things that are timed for other moments. And so now through those kind of psychedelic laboratories of consciousness, not talking about using psychedelics, although probably, yeah, in some cases, may be used to get the ball rolling. But that would be it. Because then, at some point, the exploration needs to happen without the assist. And so, but there's all sorts of different ways of thinking about this. So then we understand that we start to understand through the exploration of the subtle biology, what is the nature of this ahankara, the sense of what we are. And we can start to understand kind of its architecture. That's what Ayurveda is. That's what yogic sciences are. It's really the architecture of the sense of self and what it is. And then you can start to unpack that. And you say, if you took off my hand and you put it over there, it's like, am I in the hand? And so there's those analytical meditation techniques where you can just go through and try to discover, where is the real Leah? Is she in her heart organ? Is Leah in there? Is she in the brain circuitry? Is that where Leah is? Where is Leah? And so if you do that enough and you do it genuinely, you'll be unable to find the real insert your name. And so that takes us on a more subtle, etheric journey, you see. And so all along the way, when we go through sufferings, it purifies us. It purifies our sense of who we are and what we are. And that's so difficult. And it doesn't matter that we're infinite cosmic beings and all that kind of like spiritual jargon. Currently, we're in a human body with human emotions as well. And so, as long as we're in the human body, that will always be the case. And we would want it to be the case, to really experience the full experience of what this is all about. How else can you come to any sense of truth, any real kind of ultimate sense of truth, without going on a very kind of thorough and deep exploration of yourself and of life? And then we find, if we even endeavor to do that, you can go to the highest peaks. You can go to the highest peaks of pleasure. You can go to the highest peaks of profession. You can go to all the different highest peaks of this world. And then you'll always then have to go to the next valley. And so eventually we find, just through evolution, that there's got to be a middle ground, a middle way. And that middle way is very subtle. It's not something that I can just, let me do that, I'm going to do that. Decide to do it. Like I'm going to decide to jog a mile every day. I can do that with a certain commitment. I can set my alarm clock. I can make it happen. Using my willpower. But to use my willpower to take a middle way, to take a way of greater and greater sensitivity, subtlety, with the motivation of experiencing deeper love, which will give deeper happiness and deeper contentment, then I have to find out, what are the parts of me that are long-lasting and what are the parts of me that are temporary. So even some of my favorite things are temporary, you see. That becomes why it's such a journey to be in the human body. Love being a father, temporary. I loved being a father to the 12-year-old. That already died. And then I had to grieve a little bit, little griefs all along the way. And before that, I loved being a father to the like 7 or 8 year old. That stopped. That died. And before that, I loved being the father to the little toddler. So sweet and innocent. And that died. Loved being the father to the little tiny baby. That was like this etheric little being that was just like not even like quite in there yet, you know. And I think that's why we don't really remember those years. It's like we're not quite in there yet. We're not fully embodied yet. It's a process. We're fully embodied from the material level. But there's definitely still the energy is still gathering and concentrating in the chakras at that point. That's why the yogis say, well, the newborn baby is born. If at all possible, please keep it within the electromagnetic field of the mother for the first 40 days. Or as much as possible on the chest and within the 20 feet range. The rest of the time, if possible. That in and of itself is a sadhana. We did it. It's a hard practice, especially for the mother, of course. It's not hard for the dude. It is hard for the dude if he's supportive, and like fully engaged in helping as much as possible. But that's different than like being the one who actually birthed the organism, the baby, the little baby. So my Capricorn will sometimes start calling like, things organism as opposed to babies. And so I don't mean to be impersonal, but that's also, I think, a good way of looking at it too, because it's referring to its temporariness. The soul of it is the baby, the sweet energy of the child. That's not its temporariness. That's its essential energy, pure intelligence, pure love. That then expresses itself as the prana of the organism, the life force intelligence, life force love intelligence. So that's what we're really here to do. It's not some grim thing of like becoming, of conquering fear of dying. That should be one of the effects. But it's not a narrow focus like that necessarily. It can be like, that's my main thing that I want to focus on. But I would say you'd be more effective on achieving that goal by expanding it into all of life, and by making more of the exploration. What are the parts of me that never die? And try to find that within yourself, within your own experience. So philosophies are helpful, but at the end of the day, they're only philosophies. The question is, are they helpful in a way of getting us motivated to where we can do something that would allow us to kind of travel that subtle pathway, that middle pathway? And so out of all of the quadrillions of things that are going on in our bodies in every moment in our physiology, that's the intelligence of the prana, the unconscious, the autonomic nervous system. We only control really one main thing, motor response. With your conscious mind, motor response, voluntary muscle movement. So you can inhale deep through your nose, like voluntary muscle movement. Suspend the breath for a moment. Keep the breath in, chest lifted, shoulders dropped, and then lift up through the pelvic floor, rectum, sex organ, draw your navel in like that. Voluntary muscle movement. Exhale. Good. Now, inhale, close your eyes. Even close your eyes, voluntary muscle movement. Suspend the breath and bring the optic nerve into the space between the two eyebrows. Voluntary muscle movement. And hold that gaze position as you exhale through the nose. Now inhale deep. Suspend the breath, shoulders release, heart is open. Relax the mind and relax the gaze into that space, not trying too hard, Yes, steady, aligned posture, but also relaxed, heart soft posture. Exhale. Now Now do it again like that. Suspension of the breath. So keep the breath in. And shoulders release. Heart is soft. And then the third eye gaze. Relaxing your gaze into that area where the root of your nose meets your skull bone. Exhale. So that's like a big part of where our power lies, is in what is it that I currently have control over. And so the brilliance of working with your body and your mind and your breath so that you can optimize the pranic energy in the organism, is that then that gives you access to so much of that which we don't control with our willpower and our conscious mind. You with me? Because the psyche is very vast and deep, and there's so many layers of them that some of them so subtle that we're not even cognizant of them most of the time, but we can become. That's what the 5 blue ethers are that we're going to go into today. They're not only the realms we pass through when we die, but they're the realms of the psyche and the realm and the kind of the subtle facets of reality that when we can access them via our first understanding, but then eventually experience. Simple experience. We're not talking about like fireworks have to go off. That's not this. Sure, people have visions, all this stuff, fine, whatever. This is not the focus. The focus is, how do I bring myself into the space of a more boundless love, a more boundless compassion, a more boundless sense of purpose and service? Because the path of happiness is bound to the service that you're here to provide. And that starts with providing that service to yourself and to your own mind and body and experience, because there's no other way to transmit it to others unless you start here. And so by inhaling like that, by put the gaze like that, by kind of steadying the mind and the psyche as the mind, and also the psyche as the body, by steadying the breath, prana, inside of the body, then already it starts to kind of encourage more equanimity. But probably it'll take a little more than that. But if we're well practiced and we have something that we're doing, even a little bit of time once a day, then over time we gain the capacity that any time we really want to, we can bring our mind and space into a relative equanimity. And then that'll allow us to process whatever experience life is dealing us in a healthy way. Doesn't mean an easy way, but a healthy way. Some things are easy. Some things are innately difficult. So, losing a loved one is innately difficult. But any sort of death in our life, any sort of important change in our life is a death. And so death, the starting point is death then becomes your ally, not your adversary. And that becomes the fundamental flip that takes place in a yogi's heart, in a person's heart. In that love affair, the love affair of life itself, that then it manifests in the divine. It manifests as a Krishna, or it manifests as a Guru Rinpoche, or it manifests as a Nanak, or it manifests as just Mother Nature herself all around you. And that courtship becomes the center of all of life. And if the deaths that we're experiencing in our lives, all along the way, are experienced as something that draws you deeper into that love, into that courtship, in that sense, it becomes an ally. And so that's what Don Juan in the Carlos Castaneda's books is saying, is that death is your greatest advisor. Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche. Mindfulness of your own death is a nectar-giving medicine that restores your body to health and acts like a sentinel, a lighthouse that watches over you and your practice. Because the yogi's understanding, what else do you have other than the practice that is helping to center the energy so that you're able to have clarity of mind, love of the heart. But let's not get it twisted in the sense where then we put so much emphasis on whatever the tools that we're using that we've lost track of what we're actually endeavoring to court, to experience, which is impartial love and compassion and happiness. And so, because then you get attached to the tools, and those are temporary. And so anytime you're attached to something that's temporary in nature, it causes suffering, not only at the time where we have to actually ripped apart from that attachment, if that happens, but even as we're attached, it causes, subtle layers that are the very conditions for suffering. So that's how that path of happiness becomes intertwined with the path of suffering and the path of learning from suffering and allowing suffering to act as our advisor and to teach us. That's Saturn energy, which is the dominant energy right now on planet Earth and will be the dominant energy all of 2021, by the way. Saturn is in Capricorn, sidereal Capricorn. I know a lot of you follow the tropical zodiac of Western astrology, but the Vedic yogic astrology, the sidereal, uses the sidereal system, and they both work beautifully. But Capricorn, Saturn is in its strongest planet, strongest constellation, strongest Rashi sign, and all year long, and it's in the nakshatra, the lunar constellation of what's called Shravana. And Shravana means to deeply listen. And the term that the sound that Nanak used to describe Shravana is Sunya, deeply listening. But it's not deeply listening to the chitter-chatter of our minds, or deeply listening to the narratives on the social media, or deeply listening to the various things that are happening in the temporary world. Is deeply listening to the inner voice when all of that chitter-chatter dissipates, when the life force becomes centered in the organism and the mind dwells in its meditative equanimity. Deeply listening to the guidance of your life through that space, then, however it is that you're here to interact with the temporary world with different purposes, different dharmas, your life will be informed by that, through the wisdom of listening. Listening can be a feeling. Listening can be a sound. Listening can be all sorts of. It's as soon as you start to describe it, you instantly regret trying, as Nanak says over and over and over through the Japji. And so in those final stanzas of Nanak, when this whole divine kind of intelligence becomes personified as his beloved, in his kind of cosmic poem of Japji, where he kind of returns from the absolute space, disappearing for 3 days, and then emerges from the Kalibane River, and then utters this, 40 stanza mantric cosmic poem describing reality, essentially. And those final stanzas is where he describes the 5 blue ethers, what he calls the Khands, Dharam Khand, Gyan Khand, Saram Khand, Karam Khand, and Sach Khand. In the Kundalini Yoga teachings, they translate it English-wise, the 5 blue ethers. And so for this experience today, we're going to begin these exercises right now. And first, to kind of just get start to get the life force, the body, and the mind all kind of in good alignment, bringing some good vitality into the body, getting the spine to be nice and supple. That'll allow our minds to relax into what we're doing. And then going through the meditations where we'll explore and we'll kind of experience how the different facets of the body, from its more of the human organism and the human mind, from its more dense layers of earth, water, to its more subtle layers of fire, air, and Akash ether. And when we start to kind of, dissolve the body of the gross elements, what gets left? And that becomes a very practical yogic technique of connecting into the truly the more stable and sustained and non-dying part of who we are and what this is all about. And the more we have genuine connection to that overflows into our lives and allows us and gives us more capacity to be happy, more capacity to have santok, what they call genuine contentment. That's not dependent on whether life is really easy right now or life is really difficult. You can't control that. When life is really easy, it's around the corner is going to be difficult. And then get easy again, and then get difficult. That's how that thing goes. So if we want to ride that roller coaster, have at it. I think we've been doing that for lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes. That's why the Patanjali opens the Yoga Sutras. He says, now begins the practice of yoga. And so when it says now, because a living text like this, like the Yoga Sutras, is not just like written to like someone in the past. It's written to the person that is reading it at that time. So now begins the practice of yoga, inferring that we've already exhausted all our other attempts to find peace and happiness. Finally, now begins the practice of yoga. Okay, hands come to here. Make a little warmth. Chest lifted up, his chin is slightly, shoulders release. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale deeply. Suspend. Third eye gaze. Exhale. Inhale deep. Suspend. Lift root lock, rectum, sex organ, navel. Exhale. Again, a few more times on your own. And notice how your mind will be really active. Allow it to be that way. It doesn't need to not be that way. Just do your best to concentrate on the exercise, inhaling, bringing the gaze into a relaxed space around the third eye, keeping the chest relaxed, the shoulder blades released as you suspend the breath in. And then, as you're ready, exhale through the nose. Push the breath all the way out. And then inhaling again. Filling the lungs, but then suspending the breath and relaxing the upper body, creating a spaciousness of your mind, allowing things to be as they are, whether we like it or not. Then exhaling. We'll tune in using the mantra. Like a tuning fork. Om vibrates frontal lobe, cerebral cortex. Namo, heart center, heart chakra, thymus gland. And Gurudev, navel comes in, Gurudev. Energy is inspired, elevated. Namo vibrates heart center. And with that motivation, generating wisdom for my own self-awareness, for my own path and journey. and heart, and developing compassion for others. Inhale. Gurudev Namo. Gurudev Namo. Gurudev Namo. Gurudev Namo. Satnam. Come onto the hands and the knees. And let's start moving the body, warming up the spine, working with the prana, the breath rhythm. Inhaling, the head is up. Exhaling, head is down. Now listen to the sound of the breathing. And then as you continue, imagine the breath is chanting. Listen to its sound. And imagine it's chanting Sat, the sound vibration Sat on the inhale, Nam on the exhalation. Sat and true. Nam is identity. What is a true identity? It's beyond a thought. It's beyond ordinary conception. This is why Nanak called it Ik Onkar Sat Nam. You can't say exactly what it is. That's your brilliance, that's your intelligence. That's your depth of love. And when you unearth it inside yourself, you'll find it everywhere else. So vibrate with the breath rhythm. If you have some other mantra you use a mantra that is close to your heart. But listen to the breath. Try not to make a pause between the two positions, less of making the deepest stretch at this point. Create a rhythm, create a suppleness of the spine. A little deeper now through the nose. Keep going. Another 60 seconds. See if you can put a little juice into it, with the breath rhythm, with the spirit, with the mood. Inhale, the head is up. And exhale, the head is down. Push all the breath out. Arch the spine up. Pull the navel in. Contract through the root lock, rectum, sex organ. Good, and come sitting up on your heels. Hands are in your lap. Chest lifted. Chin slightly in. Shoulders back. Third eye will be your gaze. And it's a spinal flex, lifting through your chest on the inhale. And then exhaling, release back. With the rhythm. Nam, Sat, Light. Deeper the breath. It's a rhythmic, substantive breathing. Third eye is the gaze. You can use props like that, like Leah, to help. You can also do these in a chair if that's what works for you. But through the nose, the breath rhythm, lifting through the sternum on the inhale. Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat. Nam, Sat, Nam, Nam, Nam. Keep going. Meditative breath rhythm. Now inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Now lift through your pelvic floor, perineum, navel, just under your belly button, up and in, and then relax the gaze into the third eye area. And be spacious. And exhale. You know what I mean? It's not saying anything in particular. It's not saying inhale, suspend the breath, believe in Jesus. It's not. But if you can't, you want to do that, you can. If you're in love with Jesus, which, is highly probable. Lots of people in love with Jesus. But that's not what that is. It's suspension of your prana, equanimity, spaciousness of your mind, and you determine what is real and true and good for you. Hands come back to easy pose. Hands come to the shoulders. Fingers front, thumbs back. Now lift up pelvic floor. Yeah, heart lifted. And then inhaling left, exhaling right. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat. Prithvi hai, the realm of the earth tattva. Akasha hai, the realm of the ether. Akash. And Guru Ram Das hai, the realm of the great heart. The great field of love and compassion. So the lower triangle, Muladhara Chakra, and the higher triangle, and the crown chakra, find their balance in the center of your chest, in the heart chakra, centering the energy there, getting guidance from your higher wisdom, getting power and strength from your deeper core, and then centering the life in the flow of the heart. To the center, inhale deepest. Lift through the root lock, rectum, sex organ, navel, heart open wide, spacious of mind, third eye is the gaze. Exhale. Hands to your knees. Inhale, the shoulders will come up, and exhale, they'll release. Like inhale, squeeze them up, and then gently squeeze out some tension, you know? Oh my goodness. Exhale. You know what I mean? Living in these human bodies was an ordeal pre-global pandemic. Post and during global pandemic and ecological crises and more crises than we can even keep track of and count, and then not to mention our own personal crises. You know what I mean? So it's compassion for the body, compassion for the mind. Stretch the legs wide open, keeping the vitality good, and compassion for your life. Inhale center, and then turn to the left and exhale down. And then inhaling up and exhaling down. Like that. Yeah, feet are flexed. You bring some energy into your toes. I've been taking martial arts with my son the last few months, and it's really good. It's really helpful, and it verifies so much of what we do in Kundalini Yoga in terms of utilizing energy, and then also how to do that in your body, bringing energy into your toes, bring the chi, prana. The groin area relaxed, the mind relaxed. And you strengthen on your inhale. So as you come up, as you inhale up, that side that you're on, that leg engages, pushes gently into the earth. It's how you connect down into the earth element, but use the air element via your breath to lift the prana up into the heart, you see? So if you use the earth element and leverage with it, then you can really, become happier and healthier a little more easily. It's called physics. Good. Inhale up center. And then you're going to reach down for the toes if you can get to them. But if you can't, no big deal. Just hinge forward and hold the legs or the floor in front of you. Extend through your chest, tuck through the chin, release through the shoulders. Breathe long and deep. And groin area relaxed. Feet are flexed. And inhaling as the energy is drawn up into the third eye space. And as you exhale, draws it back down into the core. And as you inhale, and through the heart and up through the third eye. And as you exhale, back through the core and down into the earth. And inhale, relax. Shake the legs out, come standing. We're getting there, friends. Your hands are going to be Gyan Mudra, index finger to thumb. Chest out, shoulders release, eyes open, pick a single point to gaze at. Doesn't matter what it is. And you're going to inhale as the knee comes up to hip level and the arms go up, and exhale as the foot comes down and the arms back down, like a set, na, set, na, set, na, set, na, set, na. With the rhythmic, powerful breathing, a substantive rhythm breath.
Can't be seen. I listen. Can't be heard. In my reach. It can't be grasped. I look. Can't be seen.
And inhale center. Inhale, stretch up. Stretch up through the spine. Make your legs strong, make your toes tight. And exhale, relax. And then make the legs come out wide like Leah's doing there. Then arms are out to the side and bring energy into your fingers. Tense the fingers, open the heart. Inhale this position, then exhale like so. And then inhale, use your core to lift you. Don't just come up so quick, use your core strength. If you can't go all the way down, that doesn't matter. Just in the direction while keeping your heart lifted. And every inhale, please fill your lungs. Shout out to Salif, Cora Wizard, Maestro. Full breathing, last few moments. And inhale up. Strong legs, strong fingers. Soft heart. Exhale. That's a good job. All right. So now, this last part, we do have, like 4 going on 7 planets in Capricorn. It's not a bad idea to work our navels out. A little bit. Not a lot today. A little bit. Come onto your backs. Well, first actually come easy pose. Let me make sure we all on the same page with the breathing. I know we have, and for those of you who are brand new for all this, some of it's like kind of going over the head or not quite sure. I wouldn't worry too much about any of that because ultimately for today it doesn't matter. If you really found this wonderful and helpful to you, then all those details you can easily learn with us at another time, and currently right now we're jumping into our joy of the infinite coursework, which is really kind of today is a kind of a taste of what that is all about. So what you're gonna do is hands in the Ghyana Mudra, index finger to thumb. The palms are facing up. Chest is lifted, shoulders back. And ladies, if you're on your moon period, instead of breath of fire exercises, when we're doing those exercises, do long, deep breath. And if we're doing any exercises where the legs get lifted above the navel, then also just relax during those. Palms facing up, Ghyana Mudra, heart lifted up, shoulders release. Inhale through the nose. And it'll begin a breath of fire, like a equal exhale and inhale. Inhale deep. Exhale. Takes a little practice, but you can get it. Over time, the face and mind become relaxed, and the breath rhythm is just able to It's not aggressive, you see. It's meditative. Inhale. Exhale. Come onto your backs. If this strains your lower back, you can put your hands underneath your butt, palms facing down. Otherwise, arms by the sides, palms facing the body. And you're going to inhale deep and fully exhale. Then inhale, come into stretch pose. Legs come up 6 to 12 inches, head up 6 to 12 inches. And keep the sternum lifted, shoulders relaxed down, eyes on the toes. Now inhale deep and exhale. That was just a test to see how to do it. Okay, now we know we can do it, and we get our little freak out of the way when we go into a navel exercise like that if we haven't been doing any abdominal stuff in our lives as of late. So now, once you go into it, is do your best. You have to come out, and when you can, come back in. Okay, first take a deep inhalation and fully exhale. And come into stretch pose. Inhale. Draw the navel in. Lift through the perineum. Root lock, rectum, sex organ. Draw the navel in. Deeper. Relax. Exhale. Relax really well. And then last round of stretch pose. Inhale very deeply. Fully exhale. One more time. Inhale deeply. Ground the navel into the earth as you exhale. Now deepest inhale, come into the posture. Move the navel point. The entire pranic system generates its power below your belly button. Breath of fire. Seconds. Inhale very deep. Draw your navel in. Lift through the perineum. Draw the navel in so it shakes deep, deep, and relax. Relax all the way. Let your arms out. Let your legs out. Now inhale, hug the knees up into your chest. And bring the nose up towards the knees and squeeze up. Release your shoulder blades down. Otherwise, squeeze up. And then you're going to inhale and again. Amazing exercise. Alleviating vata energy, the non-rhythmic kind of anxiety producing, fatigue producing, life force condition, because its seat is in the large intestines, and also it spends its time in your upper back and shoulders. So keep the shoulder blades relaxed and rhythmically from the navel. Inhale and squeeze up and relax all the way down. Hug the knees to the chest. Begin to rock and roll on the spine. Inhale, rocking forward. Exhale, rocking back. Come up to easy pose. Arms out to 60 degrees. Your thumbs are out, your fingers are tucked in. Then you draw them out to the 60-degree angle with the heart open, shoulders released, pelvic floor lifted. Meditative gaze goes the third eye into its relaxing point where the root of your nose meets your skull bone. Inhale deep. Breath of 5.
How can I go somewhere else it is when all of my thoughts are with you?
Brightening your mind,
In this life,
brightening your inner space.
I had many chances
Satam 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 Satam. Now recommit into it. Imagine that your heart center is like a brilliant ball of luminosity, emanating rays of sweetness, love, compassion in every direction.
In this life, I had many chances, and all have been leading to
Visualize your spine like a golden kind of pillar of light and an arc of luminosity connecting the two thumbs. And deeper your concentration, the more brilliant it becomes. Inhale, thumb tips touching, fingers open up, stretch wide, stretch through the spine, release the shoulders, third eye, lift through the pelvic floor. Inhale, stretch some more, stretch up, exhale, and sweep through the arms. Meditate for a moment. Let the energy is simply kind of settle, recalibrate by simply allowing everything that is. Inhale. Okay, stretch your legs out, have some water or something like that. Something like that would be like tea, something like that. Maybe save your wine or whiskey or Chardonnay for another time. So stretch your legs out, because the as we now kind of going to enter into the main meditation journey of our thing here. We'll be sitting a lot for a little while, and what I want to encourage is, while this is, it can be, by nature of the subject matter etheric, is continuing to bring everything back into the body, bring everything back into your current life and what life is presenting to us right now. So I have things I'm dealing with in my life, just like you have things you're dealing with in your life. So that's always the best starting point for wherever we find ourselves. And whatever emotions are there and whatever kind of sensibility is there, that's wisdom in itself. That is wisdom in and of itself. But when our emotional energies are like suppressed, or they're kind of being blown by the fans of out of syncness, arrhythmic prana, what they call vata, then there's no sense of control. the emotional turbulence becomes stronger than our ability to actually sit in the space that we'd like to sit. And I don't mean literally sit, but sit in the sense of true, what they call sukhasan, good sukha. Sukha means it's the word that's most commonly translated as happiness, but it literally means good space. So good space, when we cultivate that, will go with us wherever we go, and no matter the situations that are. And even in the greatest difficulties, it will continue to bring us into deeper and greater joy and love and happiness and even blissfulness. Not like some cliched kind of new age variety of it, but what the yogis, described with really great, precision and sophistication, because it's born out of experience. So that's helpful to us, but still I need to verify that within myself. What is it? Is there such a thing? Blissfulness? Well, I don't think it takes too long to know that, yes, definitely. Now, how do we stabilize it more? And so then it brings us to the body and the earth element, earth tattva. Earth tattva, in the context of the body, your tissue layers, that which gives you stability, it gives your ahamkara, your sense of self, a sense of solidity. You can feel like your weight against the earth. Water tattva, water element, it gives you your sense of fluidity. Take some saliva in your mouth. Keep your saliva healthy, you'll tend to have good digestion, because this water element, that the fire has to be contained within. You get dehydrated, your digestion will go off, and it's not the problem isn't the fire, the problem is the water. But the fire can't work without the water, not in a sustained way, just like the fire of your intelligence and the fire of your philosophical mind can't work without the water of devotion. Not long term. The water of sweetness, the water of love. And so the fluidity, even your eyes is like a fluid environment. And we know we're like over 60% water. And that's why the moon affects us so. Just like the moon affects the tides. I could never understand that, why the scientists agree that the moon affects the tides, but they don't agree that the moon in the sky, as it changes, affects our moods and emotions. But we know it. And so, because it's subtle in nature. But even our material sciences are going to continue to get more and more subtle in nature. That's the natural process of it. That's why the quantum physicists know that all of that type stuff is true. So then you have fire, which is the warmth and the digestive power, that which actually, the heart is pumping and it's circulating warmth through your entire organism. Fire, but it's also fire gives you vision, the ability to see through the lens of the human body, the human experience. And fire gives you intelligence and gives you the ability to metabolize thoughts. And then you have air. An air element is the energy of mobility, of motion. Inhale, exhale. But air is also the nervous system current. Parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. How does my brain go and say, like, pick up this thing? It's the message from the nervous system that controls the musculoskeletal system that then gets it to do. Its air element is the force of motion. So it's air element that governs prana. And prana, when it's excessively mobile in an arrhythmic, non-rhythmic way, it produces fear. So step number 1 is to start to slow the prana down. Center the life force in the central nervous system, where it will naturally have its own rhythmic energy. Some rhythms are faster than other rhythms naturally, right? If you're more vata prakriti, your rhythm's going to be just naturally a little faster. So you have to slow it down relative to the vata prakriti. But the kapha guy, his rhythm is a little sluggish. And we need to get that rhythm going some. And then the Pitta one is very intensely rhythmic. And it's like, all right, chill, Pitta guy, you know? And that will happen via, you know, the dance of the elements in equilibrium. But what it's not doing is it's not denying how we are. It's saying that's how we are. So what's the balanced version of that? Not some ultimate balance that is relative for everyone, but the balance that's relative for my nervous system and my body and mind. And so that's the glory of these sciences. It gives us that wisdom. So then finally you have the most subtle of the 5 gross elements. These are the dense elements, the 5 gross tattvas. And that's akasha, the ether, the medium through which life travels, the space in which life exists. And related to the ether is the sound current. For the earth element is the sense organ of smell, the sensory experience of fragrance. Water element is taste. Fire element is vision. Air element is tactile perception, touch, feeling of the air against your skin, nervous system. The skin is your access point to your nervous system. That's why the wise Ayurveda people, they put oil all over their skin every day, actually. Massage it in. That's what me and your mama used to do to people all day long. And you get at that. It's not just to have great skin, although that is the effect. That's a bonus effect, though. The real reason it's being done is to ground the vata energy in the nervous system so that person's life force rhythm is superb and then serves them in their life. That's the work your mother spent her whole life doing. You know what I mean? What a glorious life, you know, and that the ripples and repercussions of that are non-dying. And so, and that is inspirational for all of us. And you have that exact same thing, whoever you are, not in that same way, but in whatever it is, to where the unique energy of your situation and your life expresses itself through a frequency of dharma. And that's always expresses itself through a service of the heart. And it's aligned with your natural gifts and your natural interests. Your rasa. Rasa means melody. Rasa means juice. Rasa means taste. Rasa means interest. So what is the juice of your life, the rasa of your life? If you can just kind of start to tune into that and then work with the meditative mind and get the organism, you know, in good alignment with its natural energy, the rest will be taken care of. So at the time of death, you have the dissolving of the elements. So what we can do as yogis in meditation practice is we can go through that process. Because when we're able to do that as a kind of a meditative technique, then what that allows us to do is to kind of have a more substantive and genuine connectivity to our more subtle nature. And when we have more experiential connectivity to our more subtle nature, very naturally our fears are going to decrease. Our confidence is going to increase. And our sense of meaning and purpose is going to be what is the natural fragrance that arises from that blossoming of your own heart. And it's not cliche because it's real. And so that's what this journey we're about to go on is going to do. And the first little bit is more active, and then it becomes a little more meditative. And it's all meditative, a little more subtle and subtle and subtle. And through it, I'm going to use some of Guru Nanak's poetry in the final stanzas of his Japji, where he describes those ether realms. In the Joy of the Infinite course, we go into it and, we spend a lot of time with it. And I just want to mention that right now, because once we go through this space we're about to go travel into, it'll be spacey, I think. So the Joy of the Infinite coursework is designed for anyone who wants to keep going with us and wants to, say, take the opportunity right now to do deeper work in this same wavelength, in this same kind of style, but in a really well-organized form, to where it's going to say, all right, this is what we encourage you. This is the yoga, the exercise set we encourage you to do on the daily as you're going through the course. And then the next module, you get the meditation that goes with it. And then as you're taking all the different modules of the course, there's different kriyas that are working with whatever the different subject matter is not quite the right term, because it is subject matter, but it's also inner processes and experiential processes and what we're working to cultivate. And so it begins with that dissolving of the elements, wrestling with impermanence, making death my advisor, my ally, not my enemy. He may be both at times, and at times it may switch, but making sure that I also have that primary relationship good with me. And then it goes into the whole rehearsal of the dying process and the traveling through what in the Kundalini Yoga system they referred to as the 5 blue ethers. The first blue ether being the Akashic field, what some people refer to as like the Akashic record, kind of the storehouse of all thoughts, actions, feelings. It's the karmic space. And then next into the second blue ether, and the third, the realm of the Bodhisattvas, the realm where in the second blue ether, it's where there is the opportunity there to whatever I need to learn right now in order to kind of have more freedom and liberation. I'll have the opportunity to do that. That's true right now, and that is true as they describe it at the time of dying as well. So that even in our dying process, we have opportunity for greater liberation. And then in the third blue ether is what they call where it goes beyond the me-centered process, and it becomes now like the guides. You see? And so that's why we all feel like we have those guides. That's the realm of the Bodhisattva, where it's no longer working out my own karma, but it becomes about now that energy is turned the other way. And then the wisdom is then shared and through the field of love. The lower forms of that, the wisdom gets shared through proselytizing and all of that, but that's not what we're talking about here. And then in the fourth blue ether, they say that's the realm of the avatars and the great beings, that very subtle, majestic Buddha field. And then the fifth blue ether is that Nanak calls Sachkhand, the realm of truth, the realm of reality. He calls it the divine gaze of the Creator. So these are the 5 blue ethers. And so what we're going to do, though, is a series of exercise and meditations that will, assist us in exploring that within our own hearts and within our own psyche, consciousness, awareness. So the first exercise, you're going to be in easy pose. And this is called the breath of 10. And it'll take a little bit of time to kind of find it and find its rhythm. But I think you'll love it. And just do your best. And what we're going to be doing is it's a 5-stroke inhale through your nose, and then it's a 5-stroke exhale through rounded, puckered mouth. Okay? And as we're doing that, the hands are coming together like this. So And then through the rounded mouth, like that, okay? So you're bringing the hands as if you're gonna like, it's not like aggressive, but it does have like energy, like you would if you were doing like a martial art. Martial art, they're not, they're graceful. There's a power to it, but there's also a softness to it. And you'll feel it right in the heart. And the endeavor is throughout the whole exercise to not break the energy between the two hands. You just do your best. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, like 2, 3, 4, 5. So eyes will be closed. And again, it's 5 segmented inhalation through the nose, like. Then. Like that, okay? At a certain point, you might feel like you can't keep doing it. At that time, make the breath deeper, powerful. Dig deeper. the whole upper body, the shoulders and the armpits, the lymph. The arms and torso in a rhythmic dance. Bring energy into the fingers. Move the energy of your life with the body and with the breath. You can move your life force. You can move the energy of your life. Work with the heart center energy. Puts all the chakras in the rhythm. Centered in the chest. The flow of love. Purpose, meaning. Compassion. Build the energy. Feel the magnetism between the two hands. Play with it.
Sunniye pohe na
Press the palms against your face. Heels of the palm under your cheekbones. And gently press into the face, suspending the breath, tightening the spine. And then exhale. And then palms against the center of your chest. Inhale deep. Lift the root lock. Press the palms against the chest and chest against the palms. Lift through the mulabandha. Tighten the spine. Exhale. Last one. Fingers into your navel. Below the belly button. Inhale. Press into the navel. Press the navel into the fingers. Lift through the pelvic floor. Tighten the spine. Press. Exhale. Relax. Be very still for just a few moments. And come relax on your backs. And really relax. Let your body relax. Let your mind relax. Feel as if you can melt into the earth energy, into the earth, the field, the magnetic field of the planet Earth, and be nurtured in that way. Let the body and the prana, let the arms out, heart soft. Feeling where the earth and the body make contact. Relax your jaw and your tongue and your mind. As the earth element dissolves. And the sense of solidity dissipates into a feeling, a hamkara, your inner sense, feeling of fluidity. The boundaries are less clear in the body and in the mind. And as water dissolves into fire, and the whole experience of the human, it's like a warm mist. Becoming much more expansive, without limitations and boundaries. And as fire dissolves into air, a feeling of weightlessness and blissfulness, expansiveness, illumination. And start to feel the edges of your body. And feel the hydration of your tissues. Feel the surface of the body connecting with the surface of the floor. Move your toes and your fingers. Start to breathe long and deep. Rotate the wrists, rotate the ankles. Rub the palms and make heat. And then hug the knees to the chest. Rock and roll on the spine. You're going to come up with your right hand cupped like so, feeling like you're holding water. Your right elbow is against your side, and your left hand comes to the center of your chest, palm on the heart center. And you sit with the heart tall, spine aligned, sit bones connected to the earth. And you're going to inhale like you're drinking the breath through rounded mouth. Then you're going to exhale through the nose. Like that. As long and deep as a breath as you can drink through the rounded lips, like you're drinking like a nectar. And then exhale through the normal tranquility of the nostrils. Feel like you're holding water in the cupped right hand. Bringing the energy that is heavenly, the Akasha, into the energy in the cells of the body, making the body like tuned, well tuned for vitality, love, spaciousness. Imagine like you're some beautiful goddess, queen of consciousness, deity-like figure, some statue, some royalty of great compassion, love, and wisdom. And hold that space as you inhale long and slow through the puckered mouth. And exhale through the nose. Nights, seasons, moon cycles, days. Wind, water, fire, and the underworld. In the midst of this, the earth was established as a place where spirit could evolve into a conscious awareness of itself, protected. For that purpose, the souls came through time and space in such a variety of colors. These souls are so many, they are countless. There are actions upon actions, and we reflect on what we do. Oh, the supreme reality. You are true, and true is your royal court, in which all is contained. And in your royal court, the devotees, the ones who have found themselves within themselves, look beautiful. Their actions flow from grace. That is the sign of you that they carry. The not yet ripe and the ripe are both there upon the earth. Nanak, go and see it. Dharamkand, in the realm of Dharma, we come to understand how to awaken ourselves to ourselves. Gyankand, in the realm of wisdom, we speak on how everything gets accomplished. There are so many winds, waters, and fires, so many creative forces, so many creations that the Creator is crafting and clothing the spirit into forms and colors. So many actions done in so many ways, and done in so many lands and so many places. So many places that are not even known to us. All for learning what you want us to learn. In great spirit of life, Akal Purik. So many heavens, moons, and suns. So many galaxies with so many peoples. So many joined in union with you. So many wise ones and so many masters. So many robed goddesses. So many gods and demons, so many persons of honor, so many jewels of spiritual instruction, and so many oceans of existences, so many ways of thinking about things, so many words that come from you, so many rulers of spiritual nobility, so many living attuned to thee, so many of your servants. Nanak, even your limits are beyond limits. In the realm of wisdom, wisdom is found. There beyond sound, the nad, the subtle vibratory frequency of creation, creates all the plays and dramas. Saramkand, in the realm of effort. The Bunny, the living word, becomes form. In the third blue ether, what is crafted there are in creations of incomparable beauty. It's impossible to speak of. If someone tries to speak, afterwards, they'll only feel mournful. They couldn't describe it. Heart held high, meditative gaze, third eye. What is crafted there are persons of purity, clarity, and grace. attuned to the supreme reality, with minds that know the difference between truth and falsehood. Persons of genuine understanding and wisdom. What is crafted there are the psyches of angels and masters in the realm of grace, Karamkand. The sacred sound, the sacred word, is power. And there is no other power besides it. In that realm are brave and strong spiritual warriors filled with the presence of divine. There is a habit sown securely inside them to honor and praise. These beautiful forms are impossible to describe. Neither they die, nor are they deceived by anyone. They enjoy sweet-tasting bliss within themselves, in the realm of truth. The formless one dwells. By seeing all that is continuously done, that divine glance looks kindly upon us. And in that kind, loving look, brings everything to a state of completion. There are worlds upon worlds, solar systems, universes. If someone tried to describe them all, there would be no limit. There, lights upon lights come into bodies and forms. Through the rounded lips, you'll begin a breath of fire rhythm, like so.
Sunya
keep the breath rhythm. Now switch your hands. Holding water now in the left cupped hand. Final moments. Keep the breath going. Palms facing up, arms out to the side. Fingers firm, heart wide open. Third eye gaze. Final minute. Hold the posture through the mouth. Deep inhale. Lift through the root lock. Bring all the energy to your fingers. Stretch up through the spine. Stretch out through the fingertips. And then hold the posture. Exhale. Inhale deep. Tighten the spine. Tighten the fingers. Lift through the root lock. Third eye gaze. Hold the position, exhale. Last time through the mouth, deepest inhale. Lift root lock, heart wide open, fingers tight. Meditative mind. Tighten the spine, touch the walls out with the fingertips. And slowly relax into meditative space. Then open your eyes up and take your arms up like so and just shake them out. All right, that was really great. Spacey enough. Now it's okay. Shake the energy, kind of distribute it into the body. Eyes come open. Have some sip of water, and that's what it is. Simple, you know, but really beautiful. And from that space, that you know, when we enter into that beautiful spaciousness, shunya, everything does seem to recalibrate. I call it like the fundamental, you know, magic trick we're performing. It's not magic at all in the, you know, illusory sense, but magic in, you know, the good magic tradition sense is that, you know, it's kind of expanding the field of awareness. So now that when I come in and put that perspective onto my life, I have well, something that may have been very stressful previously. It's not that that thing is gone, but it just no longer has the power that was dominating me anymore. It's something that I can very easily interact with and handle, and I'll have wisdom to apply it. So it's not about like going out into some like ether space cadet realms. It's nice to be able to kind of visit there, gather good energy, revitalize the body and the mind, and then sure, perhaps slowly but surely, more and more that realm starts to kind of live inside of the body, like it does for, you know, some of our most great ones. And you know, I think of His Holiness Dalai Lama, where is just the living presence is compassion. The living presence is sweetness and love. Still, though, he's a human being, you know, and that's why I think he's always, you know, very honest. I don't know him personally, but it seems really apparent to me that he's really honest when he says, "I'm just a simple Buddhist monk." Like, that's real. It's not the only thing, but that's the relationship of this incarnation. What's the relationship of your incarnation, you know, into what life is, and then to live there, as opposed to some ideal of, I wish something was like this, or I wish something was like that. It is like it is, and there's a tremendous path right before each of us, 100%. That's what I love Nanak. He didn't say the good and the bad. He said, Nanak, the ripe and the unripe are there on the earth. Go and see it. What's wrong with an apple that's not quite ripe yet? You know, it's going to be ripe, and it'll be so sweet. But right now it's a little bitter. So I do want to invite everybody who feels called to do this work with us to check out Joy of the Infinite. And everything here is provided. The course is open for a few more days. Registration is open for a few more days. And I know some of you know that we've opened it up last week when we did the full moon experience. And this is a special time when we go back into this work. And we do this, and I just think really for the mood and the tone of our lives right now, 2021, the continuation of the previous year, this is a little ways, we got a while to go in this, you know what I mean? And that's not a negative thing, it's just a real thing. And so there's so much medicine in it. We would be wise to use this time to extract the medicine and not dwell too much on how much it might suck at times, you know? Sometimes that's our reality. And so the more I try to push that away subconsciously and emotionally, the more it springs back at me with more force. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that law of physics applying to your own emotional, you know, state of being, your emotional body. And so that's why we say turn towards the suffering. Go into it. That's what intuition is. Go into it. To intuit something, you have to go into it. Can't do it from outside. That's why philosophy on its own always come up shortchanged. And so the Joy of the Infinite it's a 6-module course. It's designed to be taken over a period of 6 weeks, where you do like 1 module per week. And each module, there's the teaching and then there's the practice. And what it's going to encourage you to do is to take the Kriya of Joy of the Infinite, which is it's a good workout. Anyone can do it, but it will take the two primary kriyas of Joy of the Infinite is first a very strong exercise set to really build the inner energy, build the core vitality, build the navel energy, build the nervous system strength. So then when you're going into the primary meditation kriya of Joy of the Infinite, now you have like something even a little more substantive you're working with, energetically speaking, pranically speaking. And the combination of that, along with then going into a body of teachings, that is really at its heart about living in a deeper joy. And that has to do with an inner kind of process and discovery, is like, what is this really all about? And that takes you into impermanence as a starting point. And then that goes from there. And so you can read all about it. We provide it as best as we can. You know, we try to create the web pages to really help to try to transmit what the course experience is like. We always come up short because it's hard to do it. But I think we keep getting better and better. So that's all available, and it's discounted right now. And so the regular price is $570 if you're to get it at any other time when it's not on sale. Sale price right now is only $285. You own it. You can download it all. You don't have to depend on your internet connection. If you don't have good internet, like if you live like somewhere like me in our house in the woods, or Leah, we have to come into town and download stuff and then go back up into the mountains and the forest and watch it. You can download it. You can take it at your own pace. We hope you'll start right away. And the week after next, I'm going to do a Q&A session with all the people. So after you've had a little time to at least do the first module, we'll do a live Q&A session. We'll let you know on the exact date on that, but upcoming soon, I should say. I shouldn't commit to that without consulting the whole team and avoid frustrations pointed in my direction. What else? And there's bonuses. I don't want to talk about them right now, honestly, but you can see them and they're pretty good. Like if you get this course, there's other stuff that we throw in with it. That's really cool stuff. The 2020 immersion, that course, that was where that Sunya, that Simrit was singing. All the music tonight, by the way, Simrit, Simrit, if in case we're just meeting and you don't know her yet, and her music yet, that is. And the event where that Sunya was born, they created it on the spot. Is that 2020? It was June of last year. That immersion that we did. And so it's really a course in of itself that's kind of like a perfect companion to Joy of the Infinite. So when you get through Joy of the Infinite, you can jump right into that and it will kind of like continue right where you left off. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So anyways, that's what it is. There is a payment plan. I don't think it's on here, but it's on your webpage. And that makes it easier if you can't afford the full thing, $285 right now. Then you can. It's one payment per month for like 3 months, and you get everything right away though. And by the way, I always try to mention that if you get any of our stuff, and you get it and you buy it, and for any reason at all you decide it's not for me, all you got to do is email our team and they refund you 100%. And we've always done that. I expect we always will. We want people to be happy and want it to work for you. And so anyhow, that's what it is. And it just takes a moment to join in. Hopefully you could start soon, but also you can start anytime you want and you have it. So let's seal our time here together. And there's also something else I wanted to announce in how we end our class today. We had yesterday a beautiful, sweet sister, Kay Alvik, who is part of the Life Force Academy for some years now. She came out here to our 2019 immersion, and beautiful spirit, beautiful woman. And she passed away yesterday. And I know a lot of that has been going on. I have a dear friend who's just within the last 2 weeks left her body, Chandra's beloved mother here. And so many of us out there across the globe right now, there's a lot of souls leaving their bodies right now. Sometimes we go through those phases. So we're going to chant Akal, and that's a chant you can chant anytime. It's a chant of courage. It's a chant. It means deathless. Kala is time. Akala is no time. Kala, it means death. Akala is no death. It's the very vibration of that. That's the glory of the mantras. So tonight, or this afternoon, that is, to end our session, we're going to chant these long akals. It's like a glorious kind of lifting for all those who have passed, and also a glorious lifting of the heart, love, and courage within our own experience of ourselves. Inhale deep. Exhale. Satanam. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for being here and part of this today. Thank you, Aki. Thank you, Leah. Thank you to our whole team. Thank you all. And normally I like to go on Zoom, and I am going to go over there for just a moment, but normally I like to hang out for a little bit and chat with those. And we open, just FYI, if this is the first time you've done something with us, we open up like our Life Force Academy Dharma Sangha room, powered by Zoom. Official sponsorship. And we don't stream the class in there, but we do that to get that community feel. And it really does the trick. We've been doing it all. It was an innovation of our experiences like this for 2020. And it is a beautiful thing. Some of the best parts of these things happen after in the hangout afterwards, but I don't have a moment too long to hang out today, but we'll do it the next one for sure. And also Joy the Infinite, and in our Life Force Academy membership weekly classes happening. I'm most weeks teaching a couple times per week, and you're most welcome. So anyhow, lots of love. Jump and enjoy the Infinite if you're feeling it, and thanks so much, everybody. But you're wired somehow. Like you have a certain way of existing that is absolutely natural and skillful for you. It's you're talented in that way. It's how your heart expresses itself. It's how you get inside of love, and how love expresses itself uniquely through you.
If you have a mind, you have a mission.
If you have a mind,
You have a mission.
If you have a mind,
You have a mission.